What is the difference between a Phase 1 environmental site assessment and a Phase 2 environmental site assessment? A Phase 1 environmental site assessment and a Phase 2 environmental site assessment are two distinct stages in the environmental assessment process, each serving a different purpose. Phase 1 environmental site assessment is primarily a preliminary investigation designed to identify potential environmental concerns associated with the property. It aims to assess historical land use, records, and visual inspections to determine if there are any apparent indications of contamination or environmental risks. A Phase 1 environmental focuses on research, interviews, and a site visit. It relies on historical records, interviews, and visual observations to assess potential environmental issues. The Phase 1 report typically concludes with recommendations. If no significant environmental concerns are identified, it may recommend no further action. However, if potential issues are noted, it may recommend a Phase 2 environmental for further investigation. Cost. Phase 1 environmental site assessments are generally less expensive than Phase 2 environmental site assessments. Phase 2 environmental site assessment. A Phase 2 is a follow-up to a Phase 1 and is conducted when potential environmental issues have been identified or suspected. It aims to confirm the presence, extent, and nature of contamination or environmental hazards. A Phase 2 involves collecting samples of soil, water, or air and analyzing them for specific contaminants. It often includes drilling or excavation to access subsurface conditions and may use geophysical surveys or other investigative techniques. The Phase 2 report provides detailed information about the contaminants found, their concentrations, and distribution. It helps determine the severity of the environmental issue. Cost. Phase 2s are typically more expensive than Phase 1s due to the sampling and laboratory analysis involved. In summary, the key differences between a Phase 1 and a Phase 2 are: a Phase 1 is an initial assessment aimed at research only to identify potential or existing environmental concerns. On the other hand, a Phase 2 is a more in-depth investigation that involves testing to confirm the presence of contamination. The decision to proceed from a Phase 1 to a Phase 2 is based on the findings of the Phase 1 assessment. A Phase 2 is typically conducted when there is a reasonable suspicion of contamination that needs verification.